Good morning, I'm Neva Manu, and this is your morning news fix for Wednesday, 8th of April. In this update, Donald Trump is warning a whole civilization will die tonight if Iran doesn't make a deal to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. The US president says Tehran has until midday before its power infrastructure and bridges are obliterated. US forces bombed targets on Karg Island overnight, Iran's major oil export hub. The BBC's Sarah Smith says Trump's backed down on his deadlines before, and people are wondering whether that will happen again. Self-employed Kiwis appear to be trying to cut back on costs as fuel prices rise. New research by accounting service Henry shows the total distance travelled by sole traders who claim fuel expenses has dropped by 50% in the past month. The number of business-related trips has fallen by more than 30%. Henry CEO James Fuller says it's concerning as it shows sole traders are working less, which could have wider economic impacts. And he says they're opting not to earn money or take on further work because of the cost to travel. Uncertainty remains for airlines as our national carrier chops more flights from the schedule. Air New Zealand says soaring jet fuel prices means it'll axe about 4% of flights across May and June, including some international services. Affected customers will be notified by the end of the week. Interest rates have been rising ahead of today's OCR decision, but the Reserve Bank is expected to keep the cash rate on hold for now. Economists expect the OCR to remain at 2.25% until later in the year. Major banks have been raising most of their advertised rates in recent weeks, with one-year rates now back up at 4.59%. But the central bank says that's being driven by a global rise in wholesale interest rates. It wants to see how surging international fuel prices affect New Zealand before making any change to the cash rate. No arrests yet as police hunt those who helped fugitive Tom Phillips evade capture. Phillips took off into Waikato bush with his 3 young children, evading officials for nearly 4 years before being killed in a police standoff last September. Detective Superintendent Ross Mackay has confirmed to the Herald efforts to identify those who helped Phillips are ongoing, and officers have spoken to several locals. The government launched an inquiry late last year into whether agencies took the right steps to protect his children. Police are cracking down on drivers using their phones behind the wheel. New figures show almost 55,000 fines were issued last year alone, equivalent to 150 a day. It's more than double the number in 2018. AA spokesperson Dylan Thompson says there's no excuse, as it's something you can't do accidentally. In sport, 2 New Zealanders securing American college basketball glory in the form of UCLA's Charlize Ledger-Walker and Michigan's Oscar Goodman is an opportunity the national governing body boss Belinda Edwards wants to capitalise on. The Warriors' Adam Pompey will serve a 2-match ban after the charge of dangerous contact against the Sharks was upheld at the NRL League judiciary. Former Australian cricketer David Warner will face court after allegedly blowing twice the legal alcohol limit in a random breath test for impaired driving on Easter Sunday in Sydney. I'm Neva Manu, and that's your latest news fix. We'll be back with the next update at midday from the Newstalk ZB newsroom.